From USA Today, suicide texting case. HBO film shows bizarre connection between Michelle Carter and Glee. And I'm not going to read the article for you. You've got it in the description below. But just to give you the basics, it's the 17-year-old Michelle Carter. This was in 2014. She was arrested because she had convinced her boyfriend to kill himself through a series of texts. And so this documentary, I really want to see it. It's called I Love You, Now Die, The Commonwealth versus Michelle Carter. And it's odd that I'm reporting on teenage suicide again today, but it just makes me think, if, like looking at the Blue Whale case, they were able to put someone away for inspiring 10 teenage girls to commit suicide. Now we have the case of a girl convincing her boyfriend to commit suicide. Like, what's wrong with kids? This really sucks. I mean, I can't believe it. Of course, I remember feeling quite depressed when I was that age, and I think most of us do. It's a very difficult world when you're 17, 18, right? Like, it's quite difficult. It gets much easier the older you get, in fact. Anyway, they make this connection to the TV show Glee, which I never watched. I mean, I remember when it was on the air. I don't know. I really don't. Musicals and stuff. Come on. What I spend my time watching and reading is typically gross stories like this, or true crime related things, or deliberately horrific fiction. But song and dance, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Lawrence Welk. I'm old enough to remember Lawrence Welk on TV. You got these people in cowboy hats and dancing, and it's just meant to be a very upbeat, uplifting thing. Glee clubs, right? That's what it's about. I've never seen a single episode of the show, but the whole idea of a Glee club is just the people in the school that just try to make everything festive and fun and happy. They do the pep rally stuff and all that. Just, I don't know. I was in the arts crowd, okay? We were art club kids, French club or whatever. Like, for us, going to these pep rallies and Glee club shows and all that, that was so lame, We wanted to sit around in the coffee shop smoking cigarettes. That's what we wanted. No way, man. But she used the dialogue from the show, and this article goes on to explain how so many of the texts that she sent to her boyfriend were simply directly quoting that TV show, this Glee show, because I guess there's a couple in the show, and one of them, the actor died of a drug overdose, and so the other one went through this, she got all this sympathy, and so it became this situation where this girl who was obsessed with the show wanted to be like the character who got all the sympathy because her boyfriend died. And so rather than killing him, she found a way for him to commit suicide. So I haven't read up enough on this. I'm not sure exactly how he killed himself. But I am going to check out this documentary, and I'd like to do a review of it, because I find this stuff just weird and fascinating. And people saying, okay, well, she just texted lines from that show. Well, think about when you were a teenager. How much of your dialogue was just repeating stuff that you heard in movies and on TV? Gosh, do you remember Napoleon Dynamite? You could walk down a hallway in a university campus or a high school, and you could hear people quote the entire movie line for line. At the time, I remember when all of us were watching that, like, we could have all sat around and just quoted the entire thing. Like, we had all seen it so many times to death. And so Glee must be a good show if anyone can get obsessed with that. But I mean, this happens from time to time. I also remember, this was a while ago, speaking of true crime, the 48 Hours episode. What is it, Gilles Tetreault and He was one of the victims. John Altinger was one of the victims, but the killer, I can't even remember his name. But he, I remember the victim's name, that's cool. But I can't remember his name. But he was like a failed movie director, and he was obsessed with the TV show Dexter, and so he tried to kill somebody to like understand what it felt like. I don't know. All this over a TV show, you're going to get obsessed over someone else's creation. You know? If I'm going to get obsessed and emulate something, it's going to be me, man. I'm going to be watching myself. I've got hundreds of videos now. I'm just going to watch Jinka Jabo. That's what I will be obsessed with. I'm not going to start quoting somebody else all the time. Even though, of course, that's part of how it's done. You have to find a balance there. Obsessed with TV. Obsessed with TV. Why didn't this girl pick up a book or something? Why didn't she... I don't know. Is this what people are doing? Is this what teenagers do? They just go home and just zonk out and just watch TV all night? Come on. It's pretty lame. I prefer smart kids like Soph. Okay? But anyway... I look forward to seeing this documentary, and it's just a sad case, and we need to be doing something about mental health and young people. Over and out.